Today we'll continue focusing on Aiki Toho Iaido, covering the third form in the basic set of 15 called Ushirogiri or rear cut. Looking back at Omori-Ryu, we see that the first four kata deal with opponents coming from the four directions: front, right, left, and rear. Nishio-sensei had a similar kind of thinking when he laid out the initial forms of Aiki Toho Iaido. After Shohato, we have Uke Nagashi to the front, Ushirogiri to the back, Zengo-giri to the front and back, and then Sayu-giri to the sides. Right from the beginning, it's clear that these forms are not for the purpose of facing off with a single opponent in a duel, but are for responding to an attack from any direction. Don't focus just to the front. You should extend your feeling and awareness equally in all directions all the time, before, during, and after every technique. Ushirogiri relates to the empty hand technique gyakuhanmi kaitennage. Kaiten means rotating or revolving, like the planets revolve around the sun. Kaitennage is done in a continuous circular movement. In fact, every technique in Aikido involves kaiten. Kaitennage is a sort of basic expression of the kaiten principle. You can look at all basic techniques this way. For example, we have a technique called iriminage, even though every technique involves irimi. So iriminage is an expression of the irimi principle. Shihonage is an expression of the principle of four directions, and so on. Every technique is part of the whole, and the whole is contained within every technique. In Japanese, the word for circle is called wa. You can also say wa to refer to peace or harmony. Performing kaiten is stepping into an intimate experience of peace and harmony, of the flow of life. Kaiten circles and spirals like the movement of the planets in the universe. Kaiten generates a kind of vortex energy. We might imagine the planet circling the sun in a fixed way, like the model that hung from the ceiling of our grade school science class. But the sun is also moving through the galaxy, so the planets are actually getting pulled along through the galaxy by the sun's gravity. Nishio-sensei said, "Draw the opponent out, don't push back at him. Have a feeling of accepting and leading the opponent rather than pushing or stopping him." Nishio described the energy of Aikido like getting drawn into a whirlwind, like the planets getting drawn to the sun. Kaiten leads the opponent's energy into the vortex of our movement. Ushiro means to the back or behind. Ushirogiri involves turning to cut toward an opponent who appears from behind. Sometimes it's a little difficult at first to see the relationship between Aiki Toho forms and their empty hand Aikido counterparts. The relationship of Uke Nagashi to Ikkyo is fairly easy to see, but Ushirogiri to kaitennage requires a little more examination. Let's try to understand this by looking at the connection between the sword and the brush. Shodo is Japanese calligraphy. It's more than just painting characters, it's an expression of one's mind and spirit through brush and ink onto paper. There's an understanding in Budo that the sword and the brush are essentially the same practice. In Shodo, there are 3 different writing styles. The basic form is called kaisho, or box writing, literally correct writing. This level is very precise and deliberate. The next level is gyosho or semi-cursive, where you begin to have more flow and flexibility, moving a little more easily from one part of the character to the next. Then there is sosho, literally grass script, which is cursive writing. Sosho is the purest level of spiritual and artistic expression. But even in sosho, the balance and correctness of kaisho and the firm flexibility of gyosho should not be forgotten. In Aikido too, there are 3 levels, sometimes called diamond, willow, and water. Diamond, the square blocky movement like kaisho. Willow, the flexible movement of gyosho, and water, the flowing expression of sosho. Like in shodo, it's always very important to build on a solid kaisho or diamond level. With kaisho, the characters are clearly formed and easy to read. The brush maintains a lot of contact with the paper. Sosho, however, can be difficult even for native Japanese to read. Sometimes the brush strokes leave the paper and can only be seen in the mind's eye. Sometimes you have to know what you're looking at first. Understanding the relationship of Aiki Toho Iaido forms to Aikido techniques can sometimes be a little like sosho. The flow and the stroke order are correct, but only the key parts of the character find their way to the paper. The rest is left to the mind. In Ushirogiri, the initial turn and nukisuke, the draw and cut, relate to the initial irimi tenkan movement of kaitennage. The final cut represents the throw. The intermediate uchikaiten or inside turn is not shown. The footwork of Ushirogiri starts with the left step. Then we veer slightly to the right with our right foot and turn with our feet together as we draw the sword about 1/3 of the way out. At this point, we're angled at about 30 degrees facing back toward the line. Then we step back with the left foot, draw and cut toward the opponent's heart. Be sure to draw the saya back with your left hand as you draw. Step forward with your left foot, then your right foot so that you're straddling the line with a foot on each side. Finish with Ushirogiri, cutting down from right to left. Begin with your feet below your hips, toes pointing forward. Place your left thumb on the tsuba and step forward with your left foot. Step your right foot to the right side, irimi, and place the web of your right hand on the ska. Pivot on your right foot, drawing the left foot around. Face the rear opponent at about a 30-degree angle. Step your left foot back, drawing the saya back as you draw the sword toward the opponent's heart. Circle the sword around to the left of your head as you step your left foot to the left side of the starting line. Step your right foot forward, straddling the initial line of attack as you execute Ushirogiri from the right down to the left. Shomenire. Domo arigatou gozaimashita. We'll see you next time.